Hello, my name is Russell Wright from networkempire.com, and this video is a clarification of my original article, Google Shared Reader Conspiracy. Google takes back the ring from users. And in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of misconceptions that people had when I did a quick and dirty audio on this topic. Probably should have just done a video, it would have been a lot more clear. Got some feedback from world-class curator Robin Good, and I'm going to go ahead and make an explanation. Here's the Google Reader. First of all, understand that my organization is a software enterprise platform organization, and we deal with data, and we deal with huge amounts of web data. My company is themezoom.com, and we predict what is going to happen with large enterprise applications based on what they're doing with certain kinds of data functionality now. Remember what happened in Reader recently, in the last couple days? They removed your ability to click the shared item and replaced it with, ta-da, the Google Plus button. Okay, and I think when Robin Good was reading my article, he was thinking that I was saying Google Buzz, and what happened is I was saying that Google Buzz used to be very much tied to the Google Reader. In fact, if you go to your Plus account and you also go into your Reader, you can see that Google Buzz is still hanging out in a div layer, but it's definitely going away, and they're letting you know. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that I was not speaking about Google Buzz, I was speaking about Google Plus, but I was referring to the fact that Google Reader was tied to Buzz for a long time, and that was a significant part of the Reader. Okay, because you could click Buzz and share Reader and all these different things. So what I'm really trying to point out here is that the functionality of the share versus unshare item, which is a curator's dream, to be able to click the button share of any subscription that you might be subscribed to in RSS, your own or anyone else's. For example, here's Robin Good's latest content from his website, okay, which is Mastermind Media. I just took this feed right here. All I would have to do is, instead of this plus, which honestly I don't use plus in this way, so it's useless to me. I could just click share, and that would put it into a feed on my Google Reader shared page. This shared page was so important that we had our own domain for it at our company. Because once it got here, then I could decide what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't limited by, all this social media nonsense that they have now given us. I have to fragment my mind into 5,000 different bookmarks or 10 different bookmarks, or plus one, or sure, you can use some of these services that syndicate everywhere, whatever. That's not the point. That's a fragmentation, and that's a lack of data integrity when you have to fragment to different social media services. It's basically saying I don't have enough intelligence to decide how to syndicate my stuff everywhere, okay, through a feed. The feed is where the sheer power of the web remix actually exists. So what we had was a combination of a beautiful curators tool of sharing and unsharing and then syndicating, and then being able to remix that into an RSS. And then if you were really smart, you could syndicate it everywhere. I literally had this Atom feed, my one feed to rule them all, syndicating to thousands of locations. And of course, I now have to build it in different locations, and we have our own technologies. And it's not like it's the end of the world. But I think it's a mistake on the part of Google for the thousands of readers that were using, thousands of fans that were what we call the share bros, where it was a whole like substrata or layer of a social group of people that may have been connected on Buzz and Gmail and the rest, but they were just sharing each other's items. And now they want to, since Buzz is going away and shared items is going away, they want to stuff everybody in the box onto Plus. I don't mind using Plus, but what's the problem with Plus? I use Plus as the one feed to rule them all system that I've talked to everyone about in this diagram. Plus is a significant part, but look at the challenge of Plus, okay? There is no reader for Plus. So if I click Robin Good's thing, I can shallow Plus or deep Plus. I hope you know the difference. A deep Plus and a comment leaves it on your status update. Shallow Plus puts it in another section. I can explain more about this later. But if I click this, it just doesn't give me any real power. And even when I do, let me just take Robin Good's thing here. This is a test. Okay, I'll just go public, share his thing on my wall. My new Facebook, I'm sorry, this Facebook lookalike and replacement but most people don't know it's incredibly different. It's actually an operating system. It's a social operating system. So this is the Robin Goodthing test. Okay, there is no RSS feed for this. Okay, there just isn't. Here's my number. Russell Beatty tried to create a social RSS for Google Plus, and the API costs, and it was so unfriendly and so costly that he abandoned the project. I have to create my own feed for Google Plus when I want to have Google. I have to programmatically create it when I want to have Google Plus in my reader or any other reader, which you can see that I do. And that's very powerful. It's because the power of creating feeds is what power is as far as publishing, especially at the high level data automation. And there's ways to do that that's incredibly powerful for your organization. I would share the content that we were curating through the Google Reader with other professional curators in my organization and my network. Okay, so what we've just lost is the ability, if you're really smart enough to, curate and remix all kinds of content in the classical DJ style of remixing content and providing new context. That context would go out to your remix through your single playlist, and then you could syndicate that everywhere. Okay? And what has that been replaced by? It's been replaced by a plus button with no feed and a bunch of social media fragmentation that goes to a status update that has no RSS feed or update or publishability, and it's being posted on a new social operating system that has a limited number of posts that will be archived before they're deleted. Let me repeat that again so you guys can understand. Again, when my programmers and I talked about this, it implies a lot about where they're going. The shared reader was replaced. That's the share unshare, the curator's dream, to remix different feeds and subscriptions. I could go here and salt and pepper a couple of these in, I could salt and pepper a couple of these in, Google Alerts, so on and so forth. You could have this beautiful remix, and it would be shot to your playlist, which was your Google shared items, and then you could turn it into an atom feed, go to FeedBurner, and you could literally syndicate that everywhere, which is what we did. Now, first of all, I know a lot of people weren't thinking that high level, and they weren't necessarily using those kinds of things, because you're mixing content curation and feed curation all together. However, that's not my point. My point is to point out that the implications of that are that Google is going in the direction of narrowing the bandwidth. It's not moving towards greater publication. It's not in Google. My head developer expressed to me, she's a military industrial architect, that it's not in Google's best interest to provide publication platforms. And this was definitely a publication platform. And, you know, aside from Blogger, which is another place that you can publish to, that would be another route that you could go if you wanted to aggregate to go into a blog platform. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense of what was replaced, what was lost, and you'll understand that now you've got to think in terms of +1 instead of the shared reader. I recommend new solutions for aggregating to a single feed, which are going to be Yahoo Pipes. You can also use Chimp Feed. You can take the subscriptions that you pull in and dump them into Chimp Feed, and they will create a new feed for you. My users are going to be using a couple versions of this depending upon what suits them. Also, I am developing my own application, of course. And there are other things that I could add, but I think I'll just keep this video to this point. Another thing worth considering is that the Google Shared Reader, for those of us who knew how to use it within our Google profile, it affected search engine rankings in a pretty powerful way. You know, and we talk more about that in the members area, but just suffice it to say that I believe Google probably felt this is a bit too much publishing power. And with the changeover and all the hassle of maintaining massive data feeds for those of us who got it and who are constantly publishing through this, they could just narrow their bandwidth, reduce the entire thing to +1, which is a much more controllable platform and in some ways much more limited. It would be less of a data nightmare while they worked on their back-end social networking and the control of the network. Google is this Google Plus is a social operating system. It is not a social media platform. As a result, it's never been done before, but I think that they're going to move away from providing long-term robust platforms that mess with their search results. What I mean by that is the new social system and this new social operating system has you shared this, or, you know, if you type in other things like content marketing, for example, as long as I'm logged in to, here's Jack Humphreys down here, here's SEO Roundtable, Barry Schwartz, that's actually, yeah, he's in my circle, you see. Anywhere from 11 to 25% of the people are logged into Google when they're on their search engine results, okay? That means that social proof is going to override high-ranking websites. And the Google Reader, we were finding, because we were using it so intelligently, which I don't think a lot of people were, we could literally syndicate any topic or any theme out through our network by setting up our profiles in the right way, where we could become a pretty powerful force in our social network, especially as we started to grow our Google Plus circles. And I think that Google visionaries and the team, that's the Google Reader team and the Google Plus team, realized that it could probably be abused in some black hat ways pretty quickly, because we were already appearing in our organization by threading this syndicated, this curated and syndicated feed through our FeedBurner account and then out to the search engines through our profiles and other things. Likely that they want to have more of a handle and a control on your ability to influence the search engines through your social profile by the ever-growing number of Google Plus and Google Profile accounts that will be logged in while they're searching the search engines. Remember, this is not Google Plus. They now give you Google Plus indications on here, but when they say Jack Humphreys shared this on Google Plus, it can also be Russell Wright shared this on his blog. Okay, so anything that's in your social profile, anything that exists on your profile, it's not necessarily a Google Plus. It'll tell you if it is. If you're on the search engine results, it'll tell you if it's Google Plus, but it can also be because you published it on your blog or you syndicated it out through any of these other systems. So this is why they're narrowing the bandwidth, because they're moving the social aspect of search engine retrieval as the market share for people logged into the Google operating system versus the Facebook platform begins to overtake the mind share. That's what we're really looking at. My name is Russell Wright. I hope this has given you a little sneak peek into where Google is going. Hope you understand the limitations that they're going to be putting in the Google dashboard, and that you probably don't want all of your websites listed on your Google account dashboard and profile. That you need to keep your secondary and tertiary rings, if you're doing large-scale development online, away from your Google login account. And we teach you more about this at networkempire.com. Thank you.